Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech, and Siri 2.0 is finally set to be unveiled at WWDC 2026 on June 8th. There was a big leak of what iOS 27 Siri and other features will offer and look like thanks to Mark Gurman at Bloomberg, so let's go ahead and take a look. Now the first thing is things we've expected for some time. Siri will finally bring the features promised when Apple first introduced Apple Intelligence. This means personal context of understanding of what's on your device and also what's on the screen. It will also use Google's Gemini model to perform many more AI-related tasks. So this is something we've been waiting for. We know what to expect there. They're just finally going to implement those changes. Now, as far as what Siri looks like, well, according to Mark Gurman, Siri will get a redesigned interface as mentioned before, but he provided new renders of what to expect. The Siri interface will change and animate out of the dynamic island. Whether or not this works on devices without the dynamic island, we don't really know, but this can be activated in the same way that Siri can today by saying hey and then the word, or pressing and holding the power sleep wake button. So instead of having this sort of colorful design, instead we would have this design that you can see here, where it would pop out of the dynamic island, and that's what it would look like. Now, if you swipe from the top of the screen, you'll be presented with a search or ask Siri interface that looks like this, again from Mark Gurman's renders, and it will also pop up a keyboard similar to text to Siri. Apple is apparently moving the control center swipe from the top right that we currently have now that you can see here to the top left instead. So instead, maybe you're in an app or anywhere throughout iOS, you would pull down from the center, and then you would get sort of what we get with text to Siri now, where you can ask, use Siri, or maybe even ChatGPT or others. When activated, the search dialog will function similarly to what we have now with app suggestions, recent searches, and a small panel has been added to show the weather as well. That's not in these renders, but we should have something to show the weather. So instead of search or text to Siri like this, it would be completely different where you pull down from the top. So something completely new and changed as far as the interface looks. And again, you may have already noticed it's sort of all blacked out, so there's no color whatsoever, whether or not this is the actual look. Mark Gurman has said it will have more of a blacked out or dark theme look, so maybe it's just very simple like this. That certainly would help with some of the animations with liquid glass being a little smoother, I would think, as well. There will also be a new Siri app. This is what it looks like according to the render from Mark Gurman here, and you'll see the interface is very similar to what we would expect from Apple. The general interface will show a history of chats that you've had before with the option to show it in a list or sort of this tiled function that we have here. So presumably we'd have this option here to switch it between a different view mode. Again, in the next render that they provided, you'll see here that it says Ask Siri, and it has sort of a different interface look to it. Then we could actually add images, so we'd have the attachment button here, we could add an image and then ask a question about that image, similar to what you can do with ChatGPT, Claude, or Gemini. So this would be a chatbot just like we have with the other manufacturers of AI, but this is what Apple's would look like. And again, Siri would be smarter this time around. So finally, Siri would understand the context of appointments, calendars, reminders, and more. And you could ask if maybe you have the time available for a meeting during a specific time, and it should know based on the context off of your device. You'll also be able to have Siri write notes, messages via text, or emails based on that context as well. Again, functions we already have with Google Gemini, but something that will be added to Siri and probably be more secure. The next render from Mark Gurman shows that we're going to have a dedicated Siri mode within the camera. There is some other changes within the camera also, but you'll see that we have a dedicated Siri mode just like we have with photo, video, portraits, and others. So it's an option that you could switch between and not use all the time, and this will replace visual intelligence according to Mark Gurman. So instead of pressing and holding camera control, it might bring you right into that interface, but you would be able to take the photo here and then ask questions based on what it sees. So again, we could ask here, see what this is, and see what it says. So it says asking ChatGPT what we have here, and it says this is a 13 Pro, and that's not accurate at all. It's actually a 15 Pro Max, but you'll see here in natural titanium. But that's something that, of course, they need to work on, and hopefully Siri gets much smarter, as is rumored. The camera will also feature widgets or control center-like options. You'll see a few of the different options here at the top. And the widget picker will look like this. Similar to the control center, you'll be able to pick the widget that you want that would benefit you the most that you're trying to use. For example, if maybe you want more advanced functionality with exposure or depth, you could place those in the top and have quick access to them all the time. So we would have more of a professional camera layout, or you could make it very simplistic and just have night mode or turn off live photos or whatever would work best for you. Now, Photos is said to be getting an update, and hopefully that has to do with the layout of Photos, some new options as well, but also in Photos, you'll see this is what it looks like according to the render from Mark Gurman, where we'll have a few different options if we're going to edit that photo. We'll have a reframe option where we can change the actual perspective that we're looking at the photo from, so that will be something I'm anxious to actually try out. And then we also will have an extend option, so not only just clean up, but we could extend the photo to maybe bring it outside of the frame, and then it could generate that using generative AI. So that's all of the different things that Siri will be able to do, including some updates to writing tools. Writing tools is something we currently have already in Notes, and within Notes, of course, we have Apple Intelligence here, and then we have different tools, so Proofread, Rewrite, and others, but according to Mark Gurman, there'll be a new option for grammar checking. And again, with a dark interface from the render from Mark Gurman, where it would say original, long-time, and it would change this to a suggestion with long time, all sort of combined like it should be. So you can accept all suggestions, ignore it, ignore all suggestions, or pause the checking of the grammar. So that's something that could be coming with iOS 27, it seems. We'll also be getting some updates to shortcuts. Now, there wasn't a render provided for this, and I've mentioned this before, but basically you would be able to create a shortcut using natural language. So maybe you wanted one like I use all the time to adjust the brightness of the display, turn on Do Not Disturb, maybe change the display so it doesn't turn off or lock after 30 seconds, and then also switch off auto brightness. I would love to be able to do all of those things. Some of those functions aren't available currently, but if I could tell Siri using shortcuts to do all of those things and then have it create that shortcut, that would be super helpful, as it's something that I would use all the time. There'll also be a wallpaper generator. So within Playground, or using Image Playground, it would be able to generate a wallpaper for your iPhone as you're setting that wallpaper. In addition to this, we'll have improved images with the image generator built in, where we'll have higher quality and also better Genmoji. Now, of course, with iOS 27, I think most of us want what's rumored for it is stability and overall battery life improvements and everything else, and that is still rumored to be coming to iOS 27. If these Apple Intelligence features are any sort of hint at what we're getting, those aren't a whole lot of features compared to what we had before, along with the features Apple already announced with the accessibility features. So it's a small feature set where they could spend more time on stability, battery life, and just getting things right with smoothness and more, compared to the hundreds of features they introduced with iOS 18, iOS 26, and all of the changes throughout the year. So if they keep it to under 100 features, I think that would be a good sign, maybe have a few great features, and then of course stability and battery life improvements, along with smoothness that Apple was once known for, that lately with some of the updates has just not been the case. So hopefully we see that, and supposedly that's what we'll see across the board with iOS 27, watchOS 27, and all the others. So let me know what you think of iOS 27 so far. I know a lot of you want split view here, as well as maybe an updated keyboard. It's possible we could get those, but again, none of that has leaked so far. But let me know what you want most from iOS 27 in the comments below, and of course I'll link this wallpaper in the description like I normally do. If you haven't subscribed already though, please subscribe, and if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.